Okay, well, this is getting weirder and weirder. I mean, the Department of Justice just recently dropped charges after a federal grand jury indicted a man in Los Angeles for bringing in a bunch of these bionic face shields. You probably recall the images of the violent protests, and then you've seen a man pull up in a truck and unloaded a bunch of very expensive face shields that were designed for intense conflicts. Not cheap, not cheap. So somebody paid this guy or bought these masks, and somebody paid the guy to bring him out there. He was identified. A grand jury indicted him, and then the DOJ drops charges. Now, it wasn't a specific action by Pam Bondi, but it is the Department of Justice that is currently operating under the Trump administration. And that is part of what we voted for, was to stop these violent protests and these Summer of Love style riots. I'm going to show you the article, and this is very alarming. We also seen issues related to the appeal of getting fluoride out of the water and other really important things that seem pretty cut and dry. But this Department of Justice seems to be running in a very strange manner. Check this out. So here you go, right here. DOJ drops charges against a man who brought bionic face shields to Los Angeles riots. The Justice Department on Tuesday dropped charges against a man who brought bionic face shields to the Los Angeles riots last month. The federal grand jury indicted a man who went viral for delivering face shields to protesters during the Los Angeles month's riot. The man driving the truck full of supplies and bionic shields, identified as Alejandro Orellana, was indicted by a federal grand jury and charged with conspiracy to aid and abet. On Tuesday, U.S. Attorney Bill Essayli moved to dismiss the indictment without prejudice. All of this seems to be a bit out of character, because I've found some stuff on the guy. I was like, well, who is this Bill Essayli, or however you want to say his name? And here he is on a Fox News broadcast talking about Gavin Newsom.
Newsom is now a bold-faced liar. He cannot have it both ways. He cannot say it's unfair to let boys compete against girls and at the same time refuse to use his authority as the governor. He's not a spectator. He's not a podcaster. He's the governor of the state of California. And when given the opportunity to stand up for women, to stand up for their civil rights here in California, he refused to comply. But let me be very clear. Here at the Department of Justice, we're working with Harmeet Dillon. California will come into compliance.
And, there's other things that he fought really hard for charges on. Justice Jesus Ortega, the guy that assaulted and interfering with ICE investigations, that's that politician guy that was involved in that. Let's see here. Then you've got some more stuff where he said we found the guy who's throwing rocks at the ICE vehicles. It says, but there were some other instances where he seemed kind of, going rogue when it came to, investigations and all that. So it's a little weird. He went after the Adrian Andrew Martinez 20. He was the guy with the Walmart uniform on who was punching ICE agents. There was, he was going after the guy who was shooting at the ICE agents. And he's, they're trying to remove him off of his committees in California, Los Angeles area. And it says California State Rep Bill, it says Representative Bill Essayli is being removed from his committee. His crime, a bill to protect children. So, and the articles kind of go on right here talking about how he dropped charges against that man right here that you see in this police vehicle and in this one truck. And that's the guy who's bringing these. That's the guy who's bringing the face shields. So my best guess is maybe there's a possibility this guy knew some people, and turned on those people and gave very damning evidence and information, named some names, and maybe that was a deal. That's the best I would hope. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is he understands that his political career is under attack and he's just caving to the woke mob and just trying to salvage what he has left as a political career because he was fighting for America. Either one, in a sense, is bad, because I would like to see something happen to that guy who was bringing these face shields in. But then again, if he turned over on a bunch of really big players, then that would be, good too. So I just hope it was door number one where the guy driving that truck, then that it was, he turned over on a lot of people. I would hope that to be the case, because I mean everything else doesn't indicate that he's a bad dude. I mean, he was going, especially being in Los Angeles, considering how lefty Los Angeles is. District attorneys prior and police chiefs and all that, and how they operated. He was doing a lot better job, to me. And so maybe there's a possibility that there's just more to the story. So I'm not going to bash the dude 100% yet. Maybe there's more to the story. Some other stuff's going to come out, I hope, in favor of trying to, put a stop to these people who are doing these violent protests, because we don't need to be dropping charges and letting people just do whatever, because all that does is just green light for more of that crazy stuff. It sends a signal to the deep state, letting them know that, hey, you can do whatever you want to do, because if you do, you'll be released. So that happened when Kamala Harris was vice president, because she actually had a bail fund being put together by U.S. taxpayers, and U.S. aid probably was all donating to that bail fund to help release violent protesters back in the Summer of Love, people that were doing all the bad things in Minnesota, Minneapolis, when they were burning that place down. So I don't know. I'm just gonna let you know that that's what's happening so far. Maybe there's good news behind it. Maybe we're not going to be so effed in the A. We'll hope for the best, but thank you guys, and I'll talk to you later.